Hello and welcome to this May cottage garden tour. I'm really excited to show you some of the work that I've been doing on my cottage garden. I know it's been a long time. I am aware of that and I appreciate your patience, but I just wanted to be able to show you where we are right now. And this is just, to me, the most glorious time of year. It's one of my favorites. Georgie's doing her thing, So we've actually extended this cottage garden another probably 50 feet and gotten rid of some of the driveway. So I'm going to show you that border a little bit later because it's very new. It's in its infancy. This is like a matter of weeks that we've been working on that. So I'm first going to just kind of talk you through this cottage garden. Right now the black flies are crazy, so I am holding a punk, but it smells delightful. So our ivory halo dogwoods are looking spectacular. One of the biggest things that's happened in the past year and one of the biggest kind of learning curves was just how much deer pressure there is here. When we were here, it took about many months for us to realize how intense the deer pressure was. And I love deer. I mean, they are just such magical creatures. But I mean, they mowed our ivory halo dogwoods down to little nubs. We planted a vegetable plot, as I spoke about in the end of the last garden tour. We did that and we planted it up with seedlings I'd been growing on since January. This was last year, and the deer mowed them down completely. And so we planted again, they did it again. We built a fence, they got over the fence. We had to reinforce the fence. I mean, it was just a lot of that. And so it was kind of difficult to update you on the garden when we were trying to figure it out ourselves. But this year, we're building a fence and we're trying some new techniques. So hopefully it'll be a lot better. But the ivory halos are beautiful. I used to not be a fan of variegated foliage, and now I'm such a huge fan of it, especially since we're in a woodland. It's incredible how variegated foliage just like sings out. You have a black fly right on the lens. There we go. It just sings out in those darker corners, and I love it. So we planted quite a number of bulbs last year. The daffodils have all gone over, but everything was really early because we got it really heated up in April. It was like 70 or 75, almost 80 degrees in April for 2 or 3 days. And so everything kind of boomed, and then it got cool again. So then everything has lasted for a really long time. So these here that we have kind of freckled throughout the cottage garden, the purple and pinks, are, there are so many bumblebees. You might see the chipmunk as well. Georgie's kind of trying to check out the chipmunk who's been popping up and down there, and the hummingbird. It's just a glorious time of year. But this is the vintage double mix, and it has an Angelique tulip and then another really beautiful purple tulip. And these are like a peony style tulip, so they look like peonies. The doubles, they're so beautiful. The purple is a little bit taller in stature than the Angelique, at least in our garden, and I really love that kind of height in the garden this time of year. This is a different blend called After Midnight, and I really love that one. It's a white, a purple, and then this purple and white. But that is such a beautiful blend, and that glaucous foliage of the tulip is just spectacular. I think it's so stunning. We've planted lots of things in here. Let's see, we have some artemisia. We've started planting annuals, which is amazing. We have a purple salvia there and an annual salvia, and then 2 of these angelonias that I'm really excited about. Our phlox seem to be doing well, so well that we planted a few more phlox here. They do suffer from powdery mildew, so I'm going to try and troubleshoot that this year. Our fairy, I think they're just called the fairy rose, the smaller roses, I think they're called landscape roses. Those here are doing so well. The deer absolutely loved those. They're really thorny, so I thought they would leave them alone, but no. They cannot be stopped. We also have Queen of the Night in here, which is one of my favorites. It's such a magical looking tulip. We have pink impressions, and that one has started out almost orange. It was like a red-orange color, and it's faded to this soft pale pink that is perfect in the cottage garden. Because in this garden, the primary focus here is blues, pinks, and purples. I know, Georgie, I know. There's a chipmunk. I know. It's so exciting. You want to say hi? No, she's like, I'm a hunter. I want to go hunt. She's not. So let's see. Oh, we have so many peonies that are coming up, which is really exciting. I don't want her to be bothered by the incense. Such an exciting thing. A lot of them we got for really cheap and planted out and hadn't seen them, so we didn't think they were going to come up. But there's one here, another one there. And then there were already maybe 8 peonies here in the garden when we moved in. And the woman who lived here before, she had planted some beautiful plants here that we've been dividing and filling the borders with. But these peonies are looking fantastic. Here, I'll come over here and show you. These ones here were here when we moved in. Just stunning. This is a white one, I think. And then these ones are pinks and kind of fuchsias. Really, really stunning, and they're doing really well. And then I keep finding more peonies. There were some peonies up here that we have to transplant, but I found some over in the shade garden that I've transplanted over here, and they're already budding up, which, you know, historically, peonies are not supposed to take to transplanting, but these are doing so well. They're all budded up, and hopefully we can kind of continue that peony row. So we almost have like a border in the back of peonies come mid to late May or June. Let's see. We have some small stone crop in here, sedum. I think they changed the name of that recently, but I don't know what it's been changed to. I can't remember. We have one of my favorite flowers, one of my favorite perennials, is Nepeta. Oh, the smell, if you just rub the leaves between your fingers. Ah, it's so nice. It's just the most refreshing springtime scent. I love it so much. It's such a great smell. Another of my favorite smells in the garden is, again, a leaf. This is the scented leaf geranium. Oh my gosh, it's like sweet lemon. It's like citrusy, but really sweet and delicate. That's my favorite scent, I think, in the garden. I just come out here and I'm like, weird, sniffing my fingers. Lamium, oh, what a gorgeous, gorgeous shade perennial. Again, that like light colored foliage in shady spots is just spectacular. The pollinators love this one. It's like a soft lilac color. And this was green all winter long. We got down to negative 22 degrees. I live up on the side of a mountain. Very cold. And the lamium stayed green the whole year. I mean, it was just crazy. We just recently planted some more ground cover, some ajuga, which will be really pretty. So we have that kind of warm purple and then a cooler purple. But again, the cottage garden is going to be more blues, pinks, whites, purples, soft, gentle colors. And then some of the other borders are going to have, like, pack more of a punch in terms of color. The hostas, like maybe 2 or 3 weeks after we planted them, and we planted quite a bit because we're in a lot of shade here, the hostas have come back, and they were, after about a week or two, the deer completely mowed them down. I mean, they were non-existent. And we started noticing them coming up just in little areas, and I was just amazed. I mean, that's incredible to me. They didn't even have any time to like set their roots or anything. Who knows, maybe it's one of those things that's kind of like when you plant a plant and then you prune it back and then it focuses all its energy in the roots. Maybe the deer were like, I got you, we're doing some pruning for you. So let's see, the chipmunk. We have some penstemon, this is Midnight Masquerade, that I want to kind of repeat here. So this is very cottage garden style planting in the sense that there's sort of an order to it, and it's a limited color palette, but it is kind of all over the place. And I like that it looks very full and lush and abundant, or that it will eventually. That's the goal here. But we are going to repeat certain things, like the penstemon is going to be repeated here and there. These scented leaf geraniums are here, back there, and then 2 more in the back, so that there's this kind of flow to the border, which I am really excited about. And I think it'll be really nice. It'll kind of add some cohesion so it doesn't feel all over the place. Let's see. This is also crazy. We had snapdragons all throughout this border last year. And again, negative 22 degrees. The snapdragons have come back. I mean, they're just acting like, yeah, what's up? We're just here chilling. Very strange. Really cool though. Our Weigela has survived. That looked like it wasn't doing very well for a minute, but that's survived. We have a stilby all over this border here. I don't have my glasses on, but I think I'm really excited to see. Each time that I see a new creature that's sort of come and gone, it's really exciting. And the chipmunk just came back right before we started filming, so really exciting. So forgive me if I'm kind of nerding out about this chipmunk. All of the alliums that we've planted in here, they look like they're about to burst. So maybe I'll show you when those come back. We have this pink rose here. Let me see. Hi, buddy. All right, let's see. Which one is this called? Pink Princess. Pink Princess. Oh, so fancy. But that rose is really, really pretty. Another one that the deer loved. I'll be like a broken record for that, so I'll try to stop saying that, but just bear in mind, most of this was eaten by the deer right after we planted it. I have another geranium here. It's a blue geranium, purple blue geranium. I can't remember the name. Johnson's blue. It could be, or it's Roseanne. I don't remember which one that is. But I love those blue geraniums. I think they're stunning. It's not like those pelargoniums, Mediterranean style. These are really soft, gentle woodlands that can handle sun or shade. Amazing perennials, and they bloom their heads off most of the season. We have more lamium here, which is great. This is like I think that one's a softer pink. So that's nice. Through the border, we have boxwoods. Again, something that the deer shouldn't like, but they took down our boxwoods as well. This one was quite sizable, and now it's really far down. Transplanted some astilbe from over here, and this one has like really beautiful lavender sprays of little lavender plumes, really gorgeous. So I'm excited to see those. Our bleeding hearts, we have a alba, a white bleeding heart, and that one is stunning right next to the Brunnera. Brunnera has got to be just probably, it's hard to say. I think I've probably already said this, some plants are my favorites, but Brunnera I think is up there with my favorite plants. She is just absolutely gorgeous. I mean, look at that. Isn't that absolutely stunning? The flowers are starting to fade a little bit now, but you can't even tell in the camera. It's like, it zings. It's just one of those stunning, stunning plants. And I can't believe how big it is. Little baby. It's starting to spread a little bit here. So that'll be really nice just to have that Brunnera dotted around. We have some over here and some on this side as well, but they're not as sizable. I mean, that is just, it's a crown and glory. I love it. Oh, the chipmunk just ran out from underneath your feet. Whoa. Or was it a frog? No, it must have been the toad. It was the toad. How incredible was that toad? That is so amazing. Oh my gosh, I love them. So we have a bunch of different tulips in this area, and I think my favorite is this Claudia tulip. I didn't expect to love these pointy petaled tulips as much as I do, but oh my gosh, they're just so elegant, so, I don't know, I just think they're stunning. And with this white margin mixed with that mauve-y purple, just a gorgeous, gorgeous tulip. I really love these. And I think next to this white Dicentra, the bleeding heart, that with the, oh, it's just such a beautiful combination. The blue, the white, and then this mauve. Gorgeous. Love that. These are apricot pride, and the pride series of tulip, they get huge. They are really magnificent, really tall statured tulips. And the color on this was incredible. They opened up to a very soft apricot. Then they turned very peachy pink, and the kind of like the line up the center of each petal was a deeper color than the outside. They were really stunning. Probably the Claudia and this apricot pride were my favorites of the tulips. That's hard to say because I really love a lot of them. These are the mystic lavender, I think they're called. Magical lavender. Lavender magic, something like that. But they start a pink color and then they fade to this really beautiful lilac-y lavender color. And then we have more of the Claudia throughout. This one here is a Carnaval de Rio, which I thought would be a little bit more purpley pink, but it is a vibrant red. But weirdly, because it's mixed with the white, it doesn't really look, you can't really tell that it's a red tulip. But I think what I'm gonna do with all the tulips this year is once the blooms have faded, I'm going to cut the stems down, dig them up, and then pot them into old recycled plant pots. And then I'll let them die back naturally so they photosynthesize and get all that goodness into the bulb. Then I'll cut back the foliage and store them. And then come autumn, I'll plant them again. So I can move them around and see where I want to plant them, because I don't think they're going to naturalize that well in our area, just given the fact that the Angeliques haven't really naturalized, and they were planted in 2021. 2021? Yeah. They bloomed in 2020. Yeah, 2021. Just doing some math there. Okay, so this is some of that scented leaf geranium. Ah, you guys, it's so nice. Some more Nepeta through here, or Nepeta, it's also called. We have some Astilbe, some more of that purple Astilbe. Solomon's Seal, a gorgeous shade lover with these bells, little white bells. Then we have Tiarella, soft pink plumes of flower. More of the bleeding hearts, and those are pink bleeding hearts. I have some foxgloves all throughout the garden, and some of them are second year foxgloves, the Gloxiniflora. So that one is gonna come up this year, that little cluster. Same with the one near the Brunnera, and then we have a bunch of the Camelot mix, which were late last year. So hopefully those will come up this year as well. We have those dotted through here. Some hostas in here as well, which I'm really excited about. On this side, we also have this blue hosta, which this glaucous foliage, this blue-green color, that's gotta be one of my faves in the garden. I absolutely love it. We have a lungwort, or pulmonaria, and it still has its blooms on it. A lot of these we planted this year. We just planted this golden euonymus, winter creeper. And I think that'll be nice because the juniper, which is not looking great right now, but the juniper is a blue color. So we figured we have the blue and then some yellow, and then in the winter we'll have these, this red twig dogwood, which will be the blue, yellow, and red, which will look hopefully nice in the garden. But the dogwood is not my favorite. I really like the ivory halos. Those are much better performers. They're all leafed out, and this one is not looking great. So let's see, what else do we have? More apricot pride in here. I planted a bunch of Canterbury bells last year, and those are biennials, or at least second year bloomers. So I planted a little kind of drift of those here, and then another one in the back. So hopefully that's really nice. Here we have our octopod. And this has, I planted some sweet peas, some white sweet peas at the bottom that are, what are they called? They're like sweet scent or high scent sweet peas. And then we have our clematis growing up this, which is all budded up, and you guys, I cannot wait. I am so excited about this. It's just beautiful. And last year, I think it only got up to the first little rung. And so now it's here, and I'm just really, really excited to see this bloom. As you can see, we have tons of lily of the valley, which we inherited when we moved in. There is some kind of hydrangea. I can't remember which one this is. Let's see. Ooh. Pinky Winky. And she was so beautiful. Oh my gosh. White blooms that fade to pink, soft pink, and very lacy panicles. And then that fades to a burgundy in the autumn with the cool weather. Really, really pretty. But the deer did love that. The smoke bush, when it comes out, the foliage is just so red and rich. It's gorgeous. Here we have some heuchera, and there was some heuchera in the front as well. And then one of my favorites, Alchemilla mollis. It's a beautiful one with little sprays of vibrant yellow, green, chartreusey flowers. We have a black hollyhock back here. There were tons of bulbs, earlier spring bulbs. We had tons of different kinds of crocus, purples and whites. And then we had the Iris reticulata harmony. Oh my gosh. We have columbines all in this area. I really wanted to focus on a lot of shade loving stuff and fill in this border here. So we have the columbines that already did their first flush, and now they're starting to bud up again. I came through and deadheaded. We have this little area here that I just did the other day. Again, shade loving. We're gonna put a bird bath right here, but we're just waiting on that for now. So we have this old tree stump. This is the thalia tulip. Daffodil. Really, really elegant, very sort of a delicate, it almost looks like it's flying. Very, very pretty white tulip. And I've transplanted a bunch of anemones that were found on the property, some woodland anemones that are really pretty white. And they have that daisy-like flower. Then we have tons of forget-me-nots that, again, I transplanted from different areas in the garden. Very similar, almost the same flower to a Brunera. 2 boxwoods here. I figured eventually this could cover our well cap there. We have some daisies and some lamium in here, and then the lily of the valley is making its way. Here's some Camelot mixed foxgloves. This is the red twig dogwood. Again, you can kind of see it's just not loving its life. And this part of the garden we kind of haven't come through and cleaned up. But here we've cleaned up that quite a bit. But we have some violas down at the bottom that are just self-sowing themselves all throughout the garden. We have a rose back there. I think it's called Illumination or something like that. So why don't I show you some of these tulips in here, and then I'll show you the front border, the porch border, and then maybe we go to the veggie patch. Okay, cool. So I'll just show you this quickly. This is the shade garden. This is an area that we tried to do something with last year, and it was like an epic garden fail. It did not go well, but I'm really excited to revamp it. It might not be this season, but maybe in the seasons to come, just because we have so many things going on. We're going to do the fence and the front border, and we're going to try and do the backyard. But we did create these little swoops so that it feels a little bit more symmetrical, like a little circle here. And these were eaten by the deer. Our arbs were eaten by the deer, all of our arbs, all over the property. And so they're looking brown and nasty right now. Some of them might make it, so we're holding on for those, but these are definitely going to have to go. Tons of tulips in here. This was going to be like the jewelry box of color, kind of like Monty's Jewel Garden. Lots of vibrant colors. I cannot remember the name of this tulip, but it came out as this really beautiful yellow, like a softer yellow, and then it had the red margin. And then it slowly faded to a soft orange, and now to this vibrant orange. It's about to fade, but it's another one that's on the taller side, which I really do like. We also have these tulips, which are a purple color, really, really pretty. We had hundreds of the iris reticulata, the harmony, the blue iris reticulata. Some of them came purple, so they weren't true to the variety, but we had tons of the scarlet babies, which were really vibrant red, beautiful. I kind of planted those for my man because he loves that color. And the combination of that with the iris reticulata, the blue of the iris, was really stunning. This is another one of my favorite tulips. This is the apricot parrot, I think it's called. Green on the outside, these ruffly inner petals. It's about to go over, but oh my gosh, can you see that green on the outside? It is so freaking cool looking. They look just insane and they're so vibrant. It looks like a little flamingo. I don't know, they're really fascinating. I like brighter colors in here and then kind of softer colors in the cottage garden. That's just what I'm sort of doing here. And then these ones we have through the cottage garden as well. These are another parrot tulip called the Parrot Prince. So a little bit smaller, and this really pretty mauvey purple color. And this is the parrot pink, I think. But the parrot apricot, something like that. That's my favorite of the parrots so far. More Queen of the Night. But yeah, we're gonna do tons of stuff in here. I'm really excited that the elderberries have survived. We planted a black lace and a lemony lace elderberry, and they both were beloved by the deer, and we didn't think they were going to come back. Well, they're coming back and they're blooming. You probably can't see that. We have tons of shade loving stuff over here, which I won't show you because it doesn't look like much. Not great. But there are violas all over the lawn. There are forget-me-nots everywhere. So it's really fun to just, casually go walking through the woodland and like dig up some ferns and move them into the garden, or dig up some forget-me-nots and put them along the borders. That's been really, really fun and very rewarding to be able to recycle plants like that. And we've also planted a decent amount from seed as well. So we're gonna go over to the veggie patch. Monty Don from Gardener's World, I saw recently that he said, "There's no green like May green." And it's so true. It's the most beautiful color. It's just, it's like the color of happiness. I love it. Not the most aesthetic thing in the world, but I'm really excited about it. And it has kept the deer out so far. Touch any wood that we can see. So let's go on in. We've planted up a few of the veggie beds, but I just wanted to show you this area and also some of the flowers that we planted last autumn. Let's see, we have this bed planted up. Ignore all of this. We're going to, the rows, we're going to hopefully be taking out all of this and then filling it with wood chips, since we have so many piles of brush on the property and so many trees that have been felled that we're hopefully going to get a wood chipper and be able to do that, but we'll see. In this bed, we have, check this out, leeks from last year that did nothing, and now I planted them from seed and now they're actually doing something, which is incredible. Beets that I planted this year. This parsley came up from last year. It didn't set seed, it didn't flower. So these are just the parsley plants that have come back. My mind is blown. That is crazy. It's like they didn't skip a beat and they still taste really good. Yeah, so nice. This is our lettuce bed. We're probably going to kind of rejig a lot of this just to make sure that we get a decent amount of all of the things that we want, because a lot of this is a lot shadier than we thought it was. In here we have arugula and peas, and this is our little kind of pea cage just from like brush on the property. We'll be planting kale there. Our garlic over here that we planted in the autumn is up. I mean, when this came up, it didn't come up last autumn. It started coming up mid-April, I want to say. Oh my gosh, it was so exciting. And it's looking really good. We have to water these beds tonight. Yeah. But yeah, looking really, really good. I can't believe it. I'm so excited that we're gonna have garlic. This is another pride mix. This is pink and purple pride. We call these the birthday beds because we planted them on my birthday. So I am absolutely loving these, and it's been really fun. You know, in the late winter / early spring, it's so nice to have some place to go and some place to walk to, especially here when it's so cold and snowy and just everything looks like sticks. It's just like brown or white, and then, you know, there's nothing really to look at. So seeing these come up was just such a gift. And so next year I'd like to do a lot more of that. Really beautiful. We have little daffodils here as well. These look like the thalias, but they're a lot smaller, multi-flowered daffodils. So there's multiple flowers on each stem. Really gorgeous. And they do have a nice scent to them, but I can't remember the name of that. It's maybe early something. But yeah, aren't these beautiful? They're just stunning. I absolutely love them. They're so big too. Look at that. They're monsters. And inside they're so pretty. It's like a blue flower inside of the flower. Can you see that? Really gorgeous. Oop. Can you see? There. Isn't that pretty? I really, really love this. And I think that's the thing about planting stuff in the autumn. You know, it's like the opposite of instant gratification. It's like really doing something kind for your future self. And someone said it's like a slow motion fireworks display, which I really like that. So let's hop over to the front border, the new one that we've just created. This parsley also came from last year. Look at that. That's crazy. That's crazy. -22 degrees, parsley. What? Our onions from last year, a lot of them didn't make it, but we have a few. These are like 5-year onions. You know, it's not like you put them in the ground and a couple months later they're good. It's like, this has been quite a while. This is our strawberry bed. I'm excited to show you more. I'm excited to start planting more once the temperature is solidly in the 50s at night. We have our wood pile over there, and then our compost over there, and some leaf mold over there, but that's not super fun to look at. So we'll pop over to the other garden now. So we have made it around to the front of the cottage again. This is our porch bed, and here we have, I think this is more of that pride mix. Again, very tall. Yeah, these ones are really vibrant, as you can see. Some of them are just beautiful. I love this peachy apricot one that has a purple in the center. Really gorgeous. This white, kind of bicolor, white and purple. This is a really pretty blend, and it has a lot of red in it, but something about this just looks very happy to me. It's a very happy blend of colors. And I think what I've learned is that in the early spring, I am just craving color. Like, I think the first year we were here, we planted a lot of white flowers, and I just realized, like snowdrops and white crocuses and things like that. And I realized very quickly that I'm just craving color at this time of year. So this makes me happy. Any little spot like that. I've slowly, as I said, been transplanting a lot of the forget-me-nots. These are brand new. This is a Nana's globe, and it's really soft and really beautiful. We have one on the hill, and really loved it last year, so we got this for this year. It's really, really nice, and I'm excited. I'm excited for what that'll bring winter interest-wise. We have this large Nepeta here, really soft and fluffy. Some Achillea, yarrow, daffodils throughout, some of which have not yet bloomed, and I'm worried that they have some kind of something funky going on with them because they should have bloomed already. Forget-me-nots, we have an aster or a perennial mum, actually. Then we have safari, I think it's called. No, what is it called? Echinacea scarlet itis. Okay, some kind of coneflower, scarlet itis coneflower, I guess. Then we have our double up peach quince. So that's just now starting to bloom. And we have hyssop in here, which is in the mint family, really pretty. We have some scabiosa in here. And this bed is a little bit more vibrant than the cottage garden. It's more peaches and blues. That's kind of those are the predominant colors in here. We had tons of early spring bulbs in here as well, which were really fun. And we have alliums that are yet to come. We have a peace rose, very peaceful, very beautiful, soft yellow with that pink. It's a very popular rose. Some salvia. This one has a longer name. It's the East Friesland, Ostfriesland, and it's a dark purpley blue. Another yarrow here. This Artemisia, this soft blue. It smells delicious, and it's just a really beautiful plant. Our ground cover in here is strawberries, so those are really, really nice. Little friends like to eat the strawberries, so we give most of them, I think, to the chipmunks. This is a really beautiful geum, another gorgeous. It's like there are certain flowers that just remind me of a Miyazaki garden. Geraniums kind of do that with those little curly cues, and the geum, it's just something so soft and delicate about it that reminds me of like a Miyazaki film. Really beautiful. And this one's doing really well. We have two of those, two of these Artemisia. We have some large sedum, which oddly the sedum have done really well in the shade. Even though there's some shady areas, they've done really, really well. We have a boxwood here. This is our huge lilac tree, which we might have to take out because, as if you look close, it's completely, we had to take out several chunks and we just kind of like moved them and they just sort of fell out last year. I gave it a prune hoping it would be better, but a lot of the branches are diseased, which is really sad. We have another small landscape rose, which is kind of a peachy apricot color. We had tons of ice folly daffodils, which I think the ice folly and the topsy-turvy, which we have a few that are still in bloom. The topsy-turvy have been in bloom for weeks and weeks, just gorgeous, ruffly daffodil. But that ice folly is just really, really stunning. Kind of a classic daffodil, but really, really cheerful and happy. We have a small hedge of boxwood that is just kind of covering some stuff. And let's see, some lupins that I planted from seed couple of years ago are gonna hopefully come up. So this is our new border. It's less than a month ago. This was just driveway. So we've carved these out and we're doing the sort of no dig method. I mean, we're still digging the holes for the plants, but I'm so excited. We got a bunch of roses, some David Austins, and I just think this is gonna be really beautiful. We're gonna do this big drift of roses all the way back here that kind of carries on, picks up and carries on from where the roses in the cottage garden left off. Almost stepped on some poop. So we have a lot of beautiful annuals in here, and we're just really trying to use any of the plants that we already have here as much as we can in this garden. So we have transplanted a bunch of the daylilies that the previous owner of the cottage had planted. And so we have those, and they're soft yellow. Daylilies, to be honest, really aren't my favorite. But I just figured since we have them here, we might as well use them. We have really treated this like a classic cottage garden or a potager. So we have tons of veggies throughout. We have strawberries over there. Last year we did tons of cabbages and parsley and peppers even throughout the cottage garden. So we're hoping to do much the same this year. And right along the edge of the border, almost like a hedge, we're doing purple cabbage, which just looks so beautiful. They look like giant roses. And we have, you know, some snapdragons. We have kale. We're doing some purple kale and some green kale, just kind of dotted throughout the border. We have some phlox that we found again and transplanted, divided and transplanted. Tons of iris from the hillside that we divided and have planted. Hopefully those will do okay and start to bloom. They haven't bloomed yet since we've been living here, even on the hillside. Just not getting enough sun and probably haven't been divided in ages. I divided some daisies, so we'll see what color those end up being. I'm hoping for white. And we've planted some other annuals. We have some Dusty Miller, some really beautiful salvia, like a purpley blue salvia, play in the blue salvia, I think it's called. So I know that that's what it's called actually. And yeah, some other roses. We have some Russian sage that wasn't doing well in the cottage border, so we moved it out here. If you can see here, we have planted the hillside up a little bit with some bulbs. These again are that after midnight blend of tulips. Let me go check where my dog is. Hold on one sec. All right, she's good. So we have the after midnight blend of tulips. We have this, which is a Mystic Van Eyck, I think. It looks like a Delness Haw, but it's this really beautiful, creamy, peachy cream kind of daffodil that I really love. Oh, got a spider. Sorry, little guy. Oop, this is more of that Apricot Pride. Very pretty. I love how it softens as it ages. Really, really nice. We had some of the King Alfred daffodils, bright, bright yellow, and those did not fall over at all. We had tons and tons of rain the last few weeks, and those just held up beautifully. These ones, which I'm not sure of the name, I think it is Mystic Van Eyck, but these ones just flopped and fell and just had a hard time of it because they're so top heavy. And then we have more of this, I think these are the Pink Impressions, which we also have all along this hillside, the Pride mix. And then up near our mailbox, we have a little ring of Pink Impressions, or it's not really a ring, it's just planted inside of the bed by the mailboxes. Pink Impressions and then some daffodils. Really, really nice. On the hill, we have planted our blue spruce, which I'm so excited about. That provided a surprising amount of joy during the wintertime, just to see some evergreens out here. We have an Alberta spruce, dwarf Alberta, yellow twig dogwood up by the fence. And then there's just tons of stuff up here. Yeah, we have. I mean, I could go through. We have like two witch hazels, two viburnums, a hydrangea, magnolia, tons of stuff that's really exciting. And then there's all kinds of really magical stuff, plants that are just self-sowing. There's like cow parsley, or different kinds of ammi, I guess, and lupins that are just here. It's like they're wild lupins. We planted some hellebores that we're hoping to get more of, but those are pricey. I'm gonna go grab my dog. Hold on. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining me for this May cottage garden tour. It was really nice to be able to walk around the garden with you, so thank you. Thanks for your patience. And yeah, I will hopefully see you again soon, but who knows, could be a couple of years. All right, bye. Have a great day or night, whatever you're doing. Happy gardening. Good girl.